Greek has an inflected language. This is not inflection as in when you raise or lower your voice, not that kind of inflection, but inflection meaning that the ends of the words change depending on what the function is. And for instance, if you look up the dictionary for the very first word in the Iliad, menas, meaning wrath, you'll find in the dictionary it's menas, but then when you read the first word of the Iliad in Greek, it's menin with a different ending. And when you first start learning Greek, this might be a little disconcerting because that word's not in my dictionary, but it's like looking up the word book in the dictionary is there, but what about books? Is that in the dictionary? No, because books is just an inflection of book. So, but English only has a very few inflections. It's rather boring, actually, because if you go back and read Beowulf 1,000 years ago, English had lots more inflections, but it seems like over time languages tend to drop their inflections. But they compensate by their word order becoming more rigid. So similarly with Greek, and it goes even further back, Greek is part of the Indo-European family of languages. And if you go back and look at the oldest languages like Greek and Latin and Sanskrit and Hittite, their words had lots of different possible endings or inflections. And what do these inflections do? They change the function of the word. So if you look in Robert Fagel's translation of the Iliad, he starts with the word rage, and it's something like rage, sing the rage of Pele and Achilles, something like that. And if you know your English grammar, the word rage is the direct object of the verb, sing the rage. In English, normally the direct object has to go after the verb. In poetry, you can put it before the verb for special cases. So, rage, sing the rage. We know it's the direct object because of the structure of the sentence and the placement of the words. But in Greek, we know it's a direct object because it changed its ending, its inflection. So one inflection is used for the direct object, another is for the possessor, the genitive or the possessive case. In English, we usually use apostrophe S in the singular, or S apostrophe in the plural. Mm-hmm. Then there's another case is the dative used for the indirect object. If you're giving something to someone or doing something for someone. So that's three. That's the accusative direct object, genitive for possession, dative for indirect object. And of course the subject, the nominative, is the sort of the base case that when you look up a word in the dictionary, it'll be in the nominative singular, like book. And then Greek even has a fifth case, the vocative. If you're addressing someone or something, talking to them in the second person. So, oh, book. I don't know if you talk to your books, but... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
All the time, yes. Very close to our books. So in English, we would maybe put the word "o" before a noun if we're addressing it. But in Greek, lots of Greek nouns have a way of changing the ending to show that it's in the vocative case. So that's 5 cases, and they're all in the singular. And then for the plural, there's another set of endings for the plural. So that's up to 10 case endings, inflections. And then in Homeric Greek, there was something else called the dual. So if you specifically wanted to refer to 2 things, not just one and not a bunch, but just 2, there were some special endings or inflections for the dual. So 2 eyes or 2 hands. And there's some famous cases in Homer's Iliad where there's 2 people, and Homer specifically says there were 2 people. And it gets kind of interesting. This is in book 9 of the Iliad. At one point there are 2 people, and then later on it's the plural, so there's this shifting, and people have argued about that, which is another interesting story. So Greek, as I said, Greek being one of the Indo-European family of languages. Indo-European languages, especially the old ones, tend to share this propensity for inflections. And the further back you go, the more of them they'll have. So Sanskrit has 8 cases, but Sanskrit has evolved into modern Hindi, which has, I forget how many, but nowhere near 8. Modern Greek has 3, so it's lost 2 of the 5. English has like none, or maybe a fraction of a case with the apostrophe, whereas Old English had 4 or possibly 5 inflections or cases. So as the case endings drop away, how do you compensate? How do you show that a word is in the direct object function? In modern English, it comes after the verb, and that's a good clue that that's the function of the word. So no inflection, but the word placement shows the function of the word. Going back to Greek, if you have all these case endings, you don't need to put words in a fixed order. So the word in the direct object and the accusative could go anywhere in the sentence. Because it's manen ending with the nu, we know it's the accusative singular, no ambiguity. So it could be the first word, second, last, it'll always be the direct object. So when you're learning ancient Greek, word order is very flexible. And so when you're first translating, you want to be aware of doing a word-for-word translation because the words will be in the wrong order if you translate them. So that's why you have to look at each word and its endings separately, decide what its function is, and then kind of rearrange the pieces like a little jigsaw puzzle.
Right, so that first line of the Iliad that you were talking about, if you weren't paying attention to the cases, it would sound as if it's the anger singing the goddess, which doesn't make any sense at all.
No, that would be a little bit unusual to have anger singing. But yes, that's right. And as students, we all sometimes start off by forgetting that, and we come out with a rather strange-looking translation. And then we say, well, that can't be right. Let me look at the grammar again and make this make better sense. So it's kind of an adventure. I remember I started Greek in high school. There's another thing about inflections. In Greek, sometimes the beginning of the word changes. So verb, when they go into the past tense, they often change they put a vowel on the front. And I remember in high school Greek looking up a word, and because words are in the dictionary based on their first letter, if that first letter changes, then what are you looking up? I remember taking 45 minutes once to find the word I was trying to look up in the dictionary. But when I found it, what a feeling of success and triumph. So it's an adventure. It's a wonderful adventure learning Greek.